Hello and welcome to this analysis on various stocks. Now the theme seems to be, gas sector. So today try to analyze gas sector stocks, but only the public sector ones because we've seen a fantastic rally from PSU stocks. And with the budget on Tuesday, how can the gas sector, what is the gas sector outlook looking to me is what I'm going to share with you all. Now, in the order which I'm going to do is GAIL, PETRONET, Gujarat Gas Limited, IGL, GSPL, and MGL. They are not based on any other order except market cap. So, based on the highest market cap to the lowest one among them is how I've covered them. Before I start analyzing each one of them, a disclaimer that this is not a trading advice or investing advice to you. This is a video purely on educational basis based on the studies of Ichimoku and Harmonic Trading Patterns. Whatever decisions you take on trading or investing, please do your studies thoroughly and then take a call on them. Okay, so let's start with Gas Authority of India Limited, GAIL. The GAIL was incorporated year 1984. It is into the integration of natural gas. It owns about 11,500 kilometers of NG pipeline, 2,300 kilometers of LPG pipeline, 6 LPG processing units, and petrochem facilities. It has a joint venture with PETRONET and Ratnagiri Gas. It has subsidiaries in Singapore and USA also, which are in the LNG segment, petrochemical trading, and shale gas. 50% of the natural gas which is sold in India is done through GAIL. 74% of natural gas transmission in India happens through them. 42% of the CNG stations in India belong to GAIL, and 15% of the domestic market share of petrochemicals is with GAIL. Its revenue breakup is largely natural gas trading, which is 78%, while its overseas business holds only 8% of its revenue. 92% comes from the domestic market. The market cap of GAIL is 1,44,469 crores with a return of equity of 14% and a dividend payout of the last few years at 43.8, which is quite healthy. A trailing 12-month PEG ratio at 0.2 with a Piotrowski score of 6. The promoter holding is at 59.5%. FIIs hold 15.2%. Domestic institutions hold 18.13%, while the public holds a small 7%. Now let's try to look at the charts and try to understand what it looks like. So if starting with the quarterly charts, you can see fantastic, first consolidation in the initial years, then a beautiful rally, and then a lengthy period, a very lengthy period of sideways triangle formation taking place out there from the 2010 era, when, suddenly 2011, where, markets went a long sideways, but this one held the brunt of sideways all the way till 2020. That's a 9 years of nil to very poor returns for GAIL. And then we see that large outburst in GAIL with some sideways again taking place between April 21 till March 23, and then we know what kind of a move the stock has given us. Exceptionally brilliant, breaking through its trend line out here in the month of in the quarter of July 23 at 106, and from there it's already doubled. Now, in terms of time, you can see that this large ratio of 9 years has just turned around, and we are just in the 4th year of that. Overall, we have got 2 years of sideways in the middle. So in terms of time, stock has phenomenal upside potential. And we've seen a lot of PSU stocks and even non-PSU where the stocks have broken up after a lengthy period of sideways correction, more of time, less of price correction to give fantastic returns. Now, as per Ichimoku, the quarterly charts have support all the way down at 150, while the let's look at what the monthly charts are telling us. Monthly charts, as for Ichimoku, the support is coming at 165 out here. Let's look at what the weekly charts are telling us. And the weekly charts on Friday, and the candle close is of a bearish engulfing candle, suggesting more weakness if the week starts sustaining below its closing price of 219. In that case, next support comes in at 200 as per Ichimoku, and below that, all the way down to 165. Those are the downward major support levels for the stock. Let's have a look at the daily chart of the stock. Daily chart has a black Marubozu candle formed on Friday. Three consecutive red candles out there we can see. Last 3 days of heavy selling in GAIL taking place. Now, in the daily, the support is at 208, then 200, and then all the way down to 175. Here we have a Ichimoku big cloud at 100 and 200, and then another cloud support, fractal support coming down at 175. So those are the levels one should see. This is the June 4th election surprise reaction result which saw. So that is one major support level in case we see further downwards. Now, before I go down to the hourly time frame, let's talk about the derivative. What is the derivative segment telling us? The 1-day open interest, the future build-up is showing fresh shorting. Even the 5 days is showing long unwinding more than fresh shorting. Long unwinding, yes, with the budget around the corner, many traders don't want to take a open exposure before the announcements take place. So some lightning plus, yes, yesterday was major fresh shorting taking place in the stock. In the August option data, not looking at July with just 4 trading sessions left, 230 as the highest open interest in the call side, while in the put side, 200 has got a relatively strong open interest with 210 and 220 puts seeing slight build-up taking place out there. The result date for the first quarter of 2024-25 date has not yet been declared for the stock. Let's look at the hourly time frame. Now, in the hourly time frame, you can clearly see there is a breakdown below the Ichimoku cloud. Now, the support at the hourly is standing at 217. Below that goes all the way down to 208 out here, 208, then all the way down to 200 out here. Let's try to plot the resistance if in case we see a pullback or a recovery from the current levels. In the hourly, the resistance is at 228 out here. First 226, then 228 in the hourly time frame, and then 233 is the next big one. In the daily time frame, we can see resistance at 228 and above that at 235, where we've seen all a reaction coming instantly from the previous day high out there. Now, as per the projections which we have for the stock, if my strategy would be in this stock would be that since we're seeing a lot of cluster support coming in near 200, I would like to do a strategy where I would like to accumulate this stock on the downward side till between 205 to 190, and then try to play aggressive in that zone, waiting for a drip, or I would go long aggressive only above 230. Like I said, below 219, sustaining closing below that would open for those lowers. So derivative traders might look for an advantage of a downside. Then in that way, all the way down to 195 odd levels or 180 levels like that. Failure to hold 175 would be bad for the stock from a short-term point of view. So those who accumulate should keep those factors in mind. But from a medium to long-term point of view, like I said, that's the accumulation zone I'll be looking at. More aggressive there. If that holds, then yes, I would be looking at 165 odd levels for the next major one. Something horrible for the stock would be if 150 does not hold, then we would be talking about this particular breakdown. But that is asking for too much in the current context of the market. So accordingly, I would be looking at the market setup from short-term to medium-term point of view. Now, what is the upside for the stock? Looks like, if I just show you the Fibonacci, you'll get an idea. Let's go to the quarterly charts once again. And interestingly, if you notice the quarterly charts, that yes, the month has just, quarter is just started, so I'm not going to bother about the quarterly candle out there. So the upsides above the current high of 240 open up for 265, almost 300, then 390 to 425. So like I said, the stock is on a major uh, upside in terms of time. There's a lot of time catching up to do for the stock. So yes, some pullbacks can come in the stock, no doubt about it. But more stock, like I said, bigger picture is very strong. So opportunities to add are always there. Of course, the budget will decide the how fast that move on either side comes or not. Now that's the GAIL for you. So as you're watching the video, so please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you still haven't done. Now let's go to the next one, which is PETRONET. Now, PETRONET was incorporated in the year 1998. It is a joint venture between GAIL, IOC, BPCL, and ONGC. It is into the import, transport, storage, and regasification of LNG. It has one terminal at Dahej, Gujarat, and the other in Kochi, Kerala. Its market cap is 51,465 crores with a return of equity of 22.2%. Dividend payout has been a healthy 36.8%. A trailing 12-month PEG ratio is at 1.4 with a Poitras score of 6. The promoters, that is the government plus GAIL, IOC, BPCL, all combined hold 50% stake. FIIs hold a huge 25.58%. And now, if you look at all the stocks where FIIs have exposure, not just PSU, even private, 25% exposure in a stock is pretty high. So this is a stock where FIIs are extremely bullish at. The domestic institutions hold 12.86%, while the public holds 11.56%. Now let's have a look at the charts. Now here also you can see that how the stock has behaved from its listing time. And here you can see one sharp decline came in the subprime time, then a beautiful steady rise, again a small decline 2012 to 14, and then a lengthy sideways period took place. So after COVID also the stock did not do too much. Okay, now most of the stocks after COVID saw a very healthy recovery. This one took its time, almost 3 years till 2023. So from 20 to 23, also a major non-performer. Now, interestingly, as per Ichimoku, the quarterly chart, the Ichimoku baseline has never been violated once it started sustaining above it from 2012. So from an Ichimoku point of view, all Ichimoku investors, any dip to the baseline must be adding this stock, waiting patiently. And now the stock, after this lengthy period, has started giving fantastic returns. Let's have a look at the monthly time frame. And before that, the quarterly support, is at 245. Now the monthly support coming down at 250, and you can see out here how the scenario was for so many years when other PSU stocks, were doing much better. This one was a rank underperformer, so a late bloomer, and someone who has joined late. And you can see more categorically out here. Look at this scenario and look at this scenario. So the stock is known for lengthier periods of correction. Okay, so this one was from 2011 all the way to 2013, 2 years. This was a sideways from 19 to 23. That's another 4 years. But then look at the rallies the stocks has given. Phenomenal rally from 38 to 200 in a span of 4 years, and then just started its rally from 2023 November at 190 or now to 340. So again, a stock which in terms of time has a lot of upside potential in it, and projections are accordingly looking good for the stock. Now let's have a look at the supports on the downside also in the lower time frames for the stock. And here we can see in the weekly time frame, the stock has support at 300 odd as per Ichimoku. Let's go and look at the daily time frame. In the daily time frame, support comes in at 330, then all the way down to 310. That's quite a steep decline from 330, which is a major support now for the stock. And you can see out here that in the short term, it did spend some time in this zone. So maybe a retest could happen if there is any negativity, continuing downtrend in the stock for short term. So that's the level I'll be looking at. Below that, this 300 to and 10 to 290 Ichimoku major support for the stock. Now, before I go down to the hourly, let's discuss the derivative data of the stock. Now, one day has seen a fresh shorts build up in it. 5 days is seeing more of long unwinding. Again, with the budget around the corner, lot of traders will like to unwind their positions before a major event taking place in it. So, and for the stock results are due on 24th, that is coming Wednesday, one day after the budget. Now let's have a look at the hourly time frame. The hourly time frame is showing support for the stock at three. Sorry, one second. At 335. Yeah, this is the Ichimoku cloud, which is a fantastic support for the time being. We could see a Ichimoku Kumo bounce taking place from here. And also, if you look at this line, it's coming to a line of polarity. So it could support line 330, 335. Below that, all the way down to 315 odd levels is where the next fractal support comes in, where the stock has made a higher low in this entire process out here. So crucial levels to watch out for this stock. In the option data, the puts for August, where the highest open interest is there for the stock, is at 330 and then 310. So even the option data suggesting strong support levels there, while the call side resistance is at 350, highest open interest, and then at 360. Let's try to now look at where the resistance formation for the stock is. So the hourly resistance is coming at 350 for the time being. Before that, short covering looks very difficult in case we see a bounce. So 350 would be something sustaining above that. As per Ichimoku, would see a further up move possible in it. Then it starts pushing its way up. So ideally, one should be looking for any panic drip down to 335 to 3. If that 330 held doesn't hold, then keep the level of 310 in mind. So short-term swing trading 335, 30, and medium-term holding turnaround would be 310 to 300 for me in that stock in that way. Or, I would go aggressive above 350 sustaining. Needs to sustain above 350. Where would I be looking on an upside for the stock in the medium to long term? That's per Fibonacci placements is at 390, 445, 550. Now, one must keep in mind that if that 290, 300 level does not hold for that stock, then it can see a deeper cut all the way down to this level of projection, which we saw of 250 odd levels in that. So keep these levels in mind as you set up your what you call entries from investing or trading point of view. Again, a disclaimer, please do your thorough research before you get into any of these stocks. And if, of course, your study matches, then you can take a call accordingly to that. Now, let's move to the next stock, Gujarat Gas. Again, reminding everyone, please do like it, share it, and subscribe this video also. Now, Gujarat Gas Limited is into the distribution of natural gas in India. It provides CNG and PNG connections in the domestic, industrial, commercial, and non-commercial segments. It is presence is in the south of India, central India, and in Saurashtra. GSPL, that is Gujarat State PETRONET Limited, is the holding company of Gujarat Gas Limited. Its volume business comes mainly from CNG 30%, industries 60 point, industrial gas 60.5%, domestic gas 8%, commercials 1.5%. Market cap of 42,632 crores, return of equity of at 15%, a dividend payout of a healthy 24.9%. Trailing 12-month PEG ratio is at a negative 1.5% for the stock with a Piotrowski score of 5. Promoters, inclusive of Gujarat, the GSPL, and the government of India, is at 67.9%. FII holding 4.31%, very low. Domestic holding for 14.75%, while the public holds 13% of the stock. Now let's try to look at the charts of what lies ahead. Now in the monthly chart, you can see that the stock has made a kind of a double bottom out here, out here. But before that, let's look at from its listing 2016, a decent move to 17, a pullback here. Now, among the few stocks which during the 2018 to 2020 era, whether it was a mid-cap private or a PSU stock which did well. Most of the PSU stocks, if you see from 2018 to 20, were underperformers. Gujarat Gas stands out to be a strong performing stock even then. And the small flash crash of the COVID out here saw a higher low and then a massive contribution. The downward trend started only in for the stock compared to the other PSU stocks in August of 21, and then till March of 23, and from September rather, it stretched its low furthermore, underperforming when the market had turned around and doing well from April 23 onwards. From there, we see a pullback move, which has done decently well. Now, as per Ichimoku, trading above the cloud, we have almost got a bullish TK crossover. Future Kumo is bullish for the stock. As per the monthly charts, Gujarat Gas support is coming at 550 bucks right now. Near 550, 530 is where the major support is. Let's look at the weekly time frame for the stock and try to analyze what it looks like. Here you can see the pronounced double bottom breakout in the stock taking place with a slanting trend line breakout also, and a kind of a pullback also came out here. Now here the support for the stock comes in at 580, and then at below that at 530 odd levels. 580, 530 is crucial support for the stock going forward in the current market scenario. Now, in the daily time frame, let's go to the daily. It is at a support. If this support does not hold on Monday, the next support comes in at 590, the Ichimoku cloud. 590 all the way down to 570 is where the crucial support for the stock is. Now, before I go down to the hourly time frame, let's discuss the derivative data, what it tells us. Now, as for future buildup, 1 day has seen long unwinding, while 5 days has seen fresh shorts in the stock. So one of the few stocks where less long unwinding, more shorts have been built in the 5-day system. The option data suggesting that 600 is a massive open interest buildup in the put side, so that's a strong support, while 650 is a huge call write-up for the August settlement. The results are due on 6th of August for the stock, so still some time to go for that. Now let's look at the hourly for the stock. The hourly suggesting, sir, we have an Ichimoku cloud breakdown again at a very crucial support of 610, where it is currently holding. Now, if this does not hold, then we have the next support coming at 580. Below that, it is, it could be in some kind of a trouble all the way down to 525 odd level. So crucial support of 580 for the stock. Now look at the resistance buildup where the stock has. So we won't see any short major sign of short covering since the last 5 days has seen fresh short buildup before 630 for the stock, and above that at 650. So aggressive longs build-up would happen above 650 or as close to 580 for that stock, where we could see some profit booking and turnaround happening place, or 650. Till 630, shorters would not panic for this stock at all, it looks like. Let's look at the daily time frame and try to see where the daily resistance is for the stock. It's at 635. As you can see, did quite a few candles holding on to this zone out here, right from here to here, you can see. So this becomes like a wall now, 635 for the temporary time of view. Sustaining above that would open the stock for 650 and a lot more. So now my strategy for this stock, if I were to enter this stock, would be that I would look to buy the dip till 70, 80 in that zone. Failure to hold that zone, yes, it could be in some kind of trouble all the way down to 550 because that's where the major higher time frame supports come in. So getting longs would be more towards 580, 570. Uh, Short term, if it fails to hold at the current lows where it is at 600 and 19, 610, then yes, shorting opportunities for a small swing low could take place. But with the budget on Tuesday, it becomes a very tricky news-based thing to be in short-term swing trading here. But that's everyone's own interpretation on how to manage trades and risk. So upside above either in the dip or on a upside to break and sustain above 635.40. Now, what would be my top side projections for the stop would be, if you look at the monthly strictly, we saw this move which has seen a double bottom breakout. So the first one comes in around 700 for me, and above 700 I would be looking for an all-time high projection all the way upward towards 850 and 900. Usually as per harmonic trading patterns, this is a potential dragon breakout stock, and projections of these means a lengthier and longer uptrend. Yes, of course, wild swings keep happening. It will get a resistance between 700, 750, 725, 750 levels. So more of buy the dip for further upward projections is what my chart analysis is telling me. Again, another beautiful aspect, if you look at the stock in this monthly chart up, this is an uptrend, this is a correction, this is a bigger uptrend, this is another correction, and that breakout has just started. So in that mini breakout, in this mini breakout, we've already had one leg of correction taking place out here. Maybe we'll see another small one and then a continuation like that. Of course, this is a bullish bias projection from my end. I could go wrong. Like I said, please do your study thoroughly before taking a call on the stock. Now let's go to the next stock. Again, a request, do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, IGL, Indraprasth Gas Limited, was incorporated again in the year 1998, is into gas distributions, mainly in the NCR region. Apart from that, in Meerut, Kanpur, Karnal, Ajmer, all areas close to it. It is promoted by GAIL, BPCL, and the Delhi state government. Revenue breakup is 75% CNG, 25% PNG. The market cap is at 37,000 crores with a return of equity of 22.4%, a healthy dividend payout of 42.8%, trailing 12-month PEG ratio at 0.9 with a Piotrowski score of 7. Promoter holding, that is the promoters, GAIL, BPCL, the Delhi state government, and the government of India, is at 50%. FIIs hold 16.16%, domestic institutions 25.1%, while the public holds a very small 8.75% in the stock. Now let's do the chart projections and see what lies ahead for IGL. Now, again, I've opened the quarterly chart out here for you. Quarterly charts, again, you can see sideways, lengthier periods of sideways at one stage, then a very sharp dip, 2010 to 12, which is very common in most PSU stocks. Then the COVID dip, again, pre-COVID dip, again a stock which actually did well during the 2018-20 period. Okay, many stocks didn't do well. Like I said, GSPL, Gujarat Gas was one. Now, Indraprasth Gas is the next one, which has done exceptionally well in that period. Then we have the post-COVID crash taking place in that stock. Again, a slight, beautiful recovery in the quarterly charts, making higher lows higher consecutively. Again, as per Ichimoku, a stock where the baseline in the quarterly has never been violated. So, investors delight stock. Every pullback, SIP accommodate the stock, look for panic corrections, and they enter it for a longer time period. Let's look at the monthly chart. Before that, the quarterly chart support is at 400 for the stock. Of course, that's based on a much lengthier period of time. The monthly chart is suggesting a pullback. If there is a pullback, major support near 425. That's a huge support line. We can see out here also a kind of a tiny breakout has taken place at trying to take place. Monthly is still on above 510. So a monthly close above 510 would be a strong signal continuation for the stock out here. Let's look at the weekly time frame out here. Now in the weekly time frame, fantastic breakout has taken place above 510. Yes, in the weekly, and it's trying to push its way up. The weekly chart, again, you can see the trend line breakout has taken place. A pullback of this trend line hasn't happened till now. It's not mandatory, but stocks tend to do pullbacks. So the pullback support, if there is a pullback, would happen at 475 to 450. In the weekly time frame on Friday, the stock has made a long upper shadow candle out here. So failure to hold this calling for some selling pressure which has taken place in the market out there. So let's look at the daily time frame now and try to project what lies ahead for it. In the daily, the support comes in at 510, which is, like I said, where the monthly breakout is. And then below that, all the way down to 480 out here. Again, you can see some kind of projections out here in the stock. Before that, the stock saw a beautiful bullish harmonic butterfly bounce all the way in October 23, which has done phenomenally well for the stock so far. So a good harmonic breakout. And out here also, you can see that there is a very strong consolidation breakout taking place at this level. So this level of 490, 480 would be something smart money will look to pounce in case there is a pullback in it. Now, before I go down to the hourly time frame, let's discuss the derivative data, what it tells us. Now, as per the future buildup of the stock, the 1 day and 5 day both have seen long unwinding, not fresh shorts, long unwinding in it. The August option data is suggesting 500 as a huge open interest buildup for the put and 550 for the call. The results are due on Wednesday, that is 24th of July, 1 day after the budget. Now let's try to understand the hourly of the stock. The hourly, again, just around the cloud, not yet broken below the cloud out here. The support comes in at 520. If 520, 15 fails to hold, then we see a deeper cut down to 505, and then a major support next is at 480 for the stock in the time being. So if there is a breakdown, it has to breach below these levels for the time being. Now, the next support for the stock is coming at the resistance, for the stock is coming at 505. Before that, I don't see, 535. Before that, I don't see any major short covering taking place. Above 535, sustaining above 535 would open for a further spike up, and above 550, it would be a very, very strong upside move. Let's look at the daily time frame and higher time frames for where can we see upside projection and continuation for the stock. So my projection for the stock would be, if I were to get into this stock, would be from buying per point of view. I'm in cash. I would be looking to accumulate it on the downside, more close towards 510 to 490, more aggressive out there. If I have to do a short-term derivative downside, I would keep 535 as a strict sustaining above that, and hourly above that as my strict stop loss for downside of 515, 510 like that. And buying would be between that 510, 490 zone, and or above, sustaining above 535. What would be my upside projections for the stock would be 580 to 625, sustaining above 625. That's a golden Fibonacci in the monthly time frame, would be all the way to 700 and 800. So again, like I said, the stock has potential for a strong uptrend in it. like that. So would look at scenarios, how the budget turns out, how the results are on Wednesday, and take a call accordingly. Failure to hold 490, 480 would push it down. I would keep that factor in mind to 450, 435, also in that case, for my medium to long term point of view. So that's my projection. Again, a disclaimer: please do not blindly follow and do your trade. Do your study thoroughly, and always manage your risk on the way with your investing and trading. The next stock which I'm coming up with is GSPL. Before that, again, do like and share this video. Now, GSPL is one of the largest companies in the country which is into the transmission of natural gas through pipelines. It is into the operation of city gas distribution and generation of electricity through windmills. It holds, like I said, it's the holding company of Gujarat Gas Limited, holding 54% stake in it. Market cap is of 17,700 crores, return of equity is 16%. Trailing 12-month PEG ratio is very high, 9.7, while the PETRONET score is of 7 in the stock, which is quite strong. Promoter holding is 39.6%. FII holding is 15.67%. Domestic institutions holding 24.74%, while the public holds 19.95% of the stock. The stock has made it into the Benjamin Graham Value Screener stock. Now let's have a look at the charts. Now again, interestingly, look at the structure in the quarterly chart. Look at the wild sideways correction the stock did from 2008 till 2013. Okay, stock did go nowhere, in a sideways zone breakout. Interestingly, is this a sideways correction happening in the stock? This is the hint. Will it do this? Now, markets, remember this, nothing is, history repeats itself is true, but history does not be black and white. There will be variations. There will be some different permutations and combination. It can never be, it rarely is a carbon copy. Please remember this. So here is also another sideways correction the stock did. So the stock has a history of doing sideways more than deeper retracements, more of time-wise correction, less of deeper tracements. Keep that in mind if you are looking for a long-term projection in this stock. Now, where is the support in the quarterly charts for GSPL? It's at 275, the Ichimoku baseline. Another interesting fact for the story for the stock, except 2022, that's when we had the Russia-Ukraine war crisis. The stock has never violated the Ichimoku baseline. That's just a 2 candle below that and a sharp bounce back. We saw the last quarter ending June also bouncing back from that support. So it's showing a quarterly bounce back from a phenomenal support in the quarterly charts. Now let's go to the monthly chart and project what lies ahead. Monthly chart support is currently at 250. That's a massive Ichimoku flat Senkou V support out here, which has seen the projection. Again, if you draw a trend line, you can see the stock is trying to build higher lows all the way, pullbacks being bought into fantastically well. There was a breakout out here. The pullback was not full way, just took it off from there. This is another sideways correction, more pronounced out here. And you can see the movement coming out of the stock out there from there in this case. Now, where lies the weekly support for the stock? The weekly support is, before I go into the weekly support, let me show you the stock bounced back from a bullish harmonic bat pattern, got stretched a bit, the bat, but managed to give a fantastic pullback from there. And it has done a 50% retracement of that particular reversal. Now, where is the support coming in for this? It's coming in at 290 and then below that at 280. That's a major support line we are looking at in the short term for the stock, 280 to 290 in case there is some pullback. Let's have a look at the daily time frame. In the daily time frame, inside the Ichimoku cloud, which suggests a lot of turmoil and uncertainty, and that's what you can see with the two large red candles formations in it right now. So the daily support at very, very close to it right now, 310, below that at 300 and 295. Those are the extreme crucial support levels. This is where the stock made a significant consolidation out there. You can see consolidation, false breakdown, pull back, support, again taking a support at that level of 290.95 and then a pullback. So pullbacks to this zone are something which I would be looking at and how it reacts for another possible up move or a breakdown below it. Now, before I go down to the hourly time frame, let's discuss the derivative data, what it is telling us. Now, in the derivative data, just a second, let me check it out. So the stock, my bad, was in derivatives before it's been removed from derivatives, so there is no derivative talk about it. But I will still look at the hourly point because we have the budget on Tuesday. Now the results are on 8th of August. That's still some time to go for the stock. Now it is again a stock which is at the hourly support right now. Failure to hold this support comes next support at 310. Below that, 300. Now here also you can see a fantastic breakout. So this is the level. Panic drops would see the stock buyers, smart money trying to push it up from there. So what would be my strategy on the downside would be to buy any dip till 300, 290, 95. Failure to hold that, yes, we would be then talking about 270, 75. Also in the daily time frame, you can see a massive gap down took place in the stock. Massive gap down out here. So the resistance, so accordingly, where are the resistance for the stock? The first one is at 330, the first leg of the gap out here, and the next one is all the way at 380. So on the downside, like I said, 310, 300 is what 290 is what I would be like to look at to accumulate. Upside aggression would be above 330 towards 370, 80, which is the upper leg of the gap. Above that, the resistance is in the daily is at 400. So healthy upside possibility once it starts sustaining above that level. What would be my higher term projections for the stock? Let's look at that also. If it starts pushing its way up, would be all the way towards 410, like I already said. Above that, 460, and then 525. So keeping in mind that the stock does more sideways and then spurts on the upside, as a medium term or a short term trader, investor, whatever in it, I would be prepared for more sideways and then spurts. So one should keep that kind of a mindset in a stock like GSPL. So again, I'm hoping you are liking these videos, and do click on that like button and share it also. Now for the last stock, MGL, Mahanagar Gas Limited. It is also into city gas distribution, mainly in Mumbai and Raigad district. It is promoted by GAIL, which has a 32% stake in it. Market cap is 16,763 crores. Return of equity 27.8%. Dividend payout is a healthy 28%. Trailing 12-month PEG ratio is only 0.1, while the Petrosky score is at 6. Promoters, that is GAIL plus the government of India, hold 42.5%. FIIs hold a very heavy 30.54%. Again, another stock where FIIs have a very solid liking for it. Domestic institutions 17.4%. Public holds 9.5% in it. Now let's have a look at the charts. Now again, starting with the monthly, because there's not that much data for it, you can see how the stock behaved. That's a massive sideways correction, less of time from 2017 all the way till July 22. Again, a stock which, one of the rare stocks which retested its COVID lows. Very few stocks did that. Mahanagar Gas was one of them. You can call this projection, if you look at the listing is of 2016. short spurt rally till 2017, just 1 year. And then we see 5 years of correction. From there, we are just in the third year of a rally. So again, time-wise, the stock has tremendous potential for further upside. Monthly support is at 1,325, which is this breakout zone. Okay, you can see the breakout which took place. It has already been retested via this candle once, but in case there is a retest of that candle, we think that yes, then there is tremendous selling pressure or whatever due to any factor. We can keep that in mind from a long-term investor point of view. Let's have a look at the weekly of this chart. The weekly suggests the support coming in at 1500. That's where this fresh breakout took place. 1500, and below that all the way down to 1325. So this 1500 is extremely crucial from a medium-term point of view to come, then gets it down to the monthly supports of 1325, 1275. Let's have a look at the daily time frame. In the daily time frame, there has been a bearish ABCD reaction for the stock, a bearish harmonic ABCD pattern, which saw a sharp down move. Now, where does the support lie for the stock? It lies at 650 out here, because that's where we saw some support, and that's also where the Ichimoku baseline is. If 650 does not hold, then we are coming down to 575. Next major support, you can see this candle out here. Below that comes all the way to 525. So sharper support near 525, 500. If the level of 650, 575 does not hold for it. Now, where is the hourly support for it? Before going there, let's understand the derivative data. 1 day is seeing long unwinding. That is, Friday saw long unwinding. 5 days is seeing a minor fresh short buildup. Remember, before that, it had done some shorts, saw some short covering. So minor shorts build up in Mahanagar Gas over 5 days, with long unwinding taking place on Friday in the stock. The option data is not liquid, but nevertheless, very high open interest on the put side at 1600 and 1500. Resist call 1700 and 1800. But keep in mind, option data is not very liquid. Let's have a look at the hourly time frame. Hourly time frame, at a threatening level of breaking below the Ichimoku cloud out here, the hourly support at 1675 and 1640. So these are extreme short-term supports for the stock. If 1640 does not hold, then we could see a sharper decline towards 1500 in mind, which is also what the higher time frame major support is. But weakness towards that level only if 1640 fails to hold for the stock. Where would we see short covering in the stock? Only above 1735 would shorters come in and try to exit. Fresh aggressive long would happen above 1770. As you can see out here, it did try to breach above this twice. So above that, it would try to negate this bearish harmonic pattern and try to push its way higher from here. Let's look at where is the higher time frame projection of resistance. Like I said, short covering above 1735, 1770. So my objective in the stock would be to accumulate it more close towards 575, 1525 or above 1700, and aggressive above 1775, can start above 1735 also. Upward side projections based on what we have in front of us is, remember, it's given a rejection from a golden Fibonacci number of 1.61, near that at 1890. Already started its pullback. So upward would be, next would be 2175, 2375 and 2700. So stock has fantastic projections. Maybe in the immediate short term, a little bit of wobbliness, but a good opportunity for many investors and all to enter it as and when any side projection happening. So once again, I hope these videos are of help to you, and so please do like it. share the video, and also subscribe if you haven't done till then. Until then, happy investing and safe trading, everyone. Bye bye.